Shalom Mishpachah. All right, so I'm running in here for just a little bit of time, hopefully, to run some things past you. And we are flying solo up in here. We're doing something a little new tonight. We have some new gear in the house, as I said before. We were waiting on a couple of webcams and some other pieces to come through, and they did. So now here we are, and we're going to try to move forward. I am looking at some things. You know, I heard a brother say something earlier today, and it kind of it's been sitting on my head all day long. And so I want to address some of that and move forward with that, because it's been bothering me all day long. I heard a brother earlier today, and we're going to look at his page in just a second, but I heard a brother earlier today saying some things about the Alphabet Boys, and all day long it's been bothering me about because ever since the thing that's happened at the Washington, or in Washington D.C. at the Lincoln Memorial. It's funny that it happened at Lincoln's Memorial. You know, this is supposed to be the man who signed the Emancipation Proclamation and supposedly set all Negroes free, even though we know he didn't set anybody free, and it was a political move. Nevertheless, you know, it's the whole idea that it was at the Lincoln, right in front of the Lincoln Monument, or the Lincoln Memorial. And so I heard, you know, Aki say something today, and he was talking about, he mentioned a couple of things. First of all, he talked about a district attorney, or the attorney general here in California. I'm in California. And then he said something also about the brothers who was in front of the Lincoln Memorial. We're going to get to that. So before we go that far, I really, and I don't even have it up in front of me because I'm working off the laptop right now, but I just, right now, we just need to pray. Father, in the name of Yeshua Messiah, I just ask, Father, that you give us your peace. I just pray, Father, that you give us your wisdom and allow us to be able to walk in the paths that you call us to walk in. And I pray that you give us the peace and the power to be able to walk in the authority that you are calling us to walk in. Surely we know this is the last days, and the enemy is ramping up his attack. And I pray that my brothers will be able to stand strong, and my sisters will be able to stand strong, and that we can continue to be arm in arm, because I feel, you know, I feel it. I feel that there's going to come, there's a falling away coming. There's a falling away coming, Father, and I just pray that you just give your children, your seed, give us the strength to stand. There's a falling away coming, and I just ask that you give us the strength to stand, so that we'll be able to stand strong and be bold and carry on this word and not fold. In the name of Yeshua Messiah, we ask these special blessings. Hallelujah. Amen. This is so heavy. I can barely think. This is so heavy on my head. So let me go. First of all, so we know I'm going to be using some things that I don't have the copyrights for, and so there's some fair use clauses that allows me to be able to use some exhibited portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, video discs, without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use, and it's for purposes of education, news reporting, teaching, parodies, but we're not making fun over here of anybody. Matter of fact, this is so serious, there's no point in making fun of anybody. I'm having difficulty. I'm actually sitting here trying to operate both computers. I'm working on the laptop, giving you this, and then I'm trying to do some other things on the other computer, and I'm having difficulty just trying to stay focused, y'all. This has got me. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. This has got me. I'm sitting over here. You know, I like my big boy right here. You know, I like this dude, and I'm I'm sitting here trying to ride it out peacefully like him and just be, you know, okay with it. But it's a little bit difficult right about now. So while he's sitting here posted, you know, getting his slurp on, licking his paws and trying to be relaxed, you know, I'm over here trying to keep my cool and not fall apart. So So while we're doing this, I'm going to look at. Hey, hi, how you doing? I'm yeah, yeah. We this is actually not the new camera. This is the old camera. This is the one that was not working on the main computer that's in front of me, but we have it on the laptop. So I have them both in front of me tonight because I am trying to stay focused. I have some notes here. I've got some things there. I'm going to actually have the camera set up. Not tonight. I'm not going to do it tonight, but there's going to be, when the cameras are set up, you'll be able to see. I can run multiple cameras now, so you'll be able to see me, and then I'll have this camera shooting at my screen over here, so that you'll be able to see what's over my shoulder and everything else. I am trying to find. What am I trying to find right now? I'm so. Oh, here we go. I'm kind of flustered. And that's not the one I want. Here we go. This is the one I want right here. Because I want to be able to show you. Well, no, I'm going to show it to you here, but I need to see here as well. So that's what's going on with me right now. I'm just really flustered. There's the. I'm going to tell you. First off, while I bring up something on the screen here for me to look at, for me to see. I'm a little tied up in my cableage. You know what? Hold on. I sat down here in haste and was trying to get everything set, but I got my cables twisted and mixed up because I was trying to sit down here rather quickly. I have a mouse for this computer and a mouse for this one in front of me, and I'm getting confused in which ones is which, but it's all right. All right, so let me do this. Where do I want to go? Here we go. This is what I want right here. Okay. All right. So, okay, so let's get into it now. The Alphabet Boys. We're going to start with the Alphabet Boys. Now, long before I got into even knowing what we call this truth, even knowing what this is, I had been doing research, and my nephew had been with me, and we were doing some things, and I had stumbled across, because we were always, what people call us conspiracy theorists or whatever, but I'm reading my scriptures and I'm watching what's going on in my world, and what's going on in my world is matching what's going on the pages of my scriptures. And so as I'm looking and I'm able to tell, what's going on and what's happening, I'm sharing this with people, and then we get called conspiracy theorists or whatever. But like I'm telling people, like, look, somebody is reading this book and they're running this book like it's an NFL playbook, and it's lining up. They're pulling off plays that are right here on these pages. This was, and at the time, during that time in 1996, let me see. 1996, my grandmother died. My baby boy was 96. Dondre was 3 years old. I wasn't in what this is called the truth. I was still preaching and teaching in churchianity, but I was aware. So even though I wasn't in this truth, I was looking at this truth, and like I said, I was running around with this little country pastor who was looking for the Hebrews among the American Indians. Okay, so I didn't know that I was looking for me, and he didn't know that myself and others who were with him were the Hebrews. None of us knew. So anyway, in 1996, I ran across something that the Alphabet Boys did called Project Megiddo. Okay, and they had this thing called Project Megiddo, and it before we get there, before we even get there, let me show you this. This brother had who was talking about the Alphabet Boys had this on his. Okay, so it's not going to let me switch it now? Really? Okay, now see, that's Elder Gabbar, but that's not what I want. And a moment ago, this was letting me change the page. This is crazy. A moment ago, this was letting me change the page. Okay, so let me do this. Let me try to change the page. Here we go. Okay, so I see what's happening. I see what's happening. Let me change the page real quick. Hold on. It's loading. Come on, let me change the page. Here we go. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm gonna show you this. I hope it stays there when it switches over. Let's hope it stays right there. Okay, so my brother was talking about this. Okay, so it did stay there. All right, so look at here, you guys. So you see this? This says CIA operatives. Okay, the Alphabet Boys. Now this is on Minister Church, his Twitter page, and you can see it right there. You can look him up, Minister Church, on the Twitter page. You can see he was talking today about us being infiltrated. Okay, and I've always known, that we were being infiltrated. I known that there were people who were looking and getting into the groups. There's a book called The Spook Who Sat by the Door, which talks about a black man who infiltrated the Black Panthers, and so any kind of group they think is gonna go against the grain, they're gonna infiltrate. Okay, so here's the thing. You can see here where he has it that that not Hebrews and Africans in the background. None of us run around with Star Davids on our heads or anything. We don't run around with Star Davids on our chest. This is how we know that we're being infiltrated. We got brothers running around with mitres on, or mitre, however you want to call it, mitres or mitres, and they don't even have beards. Okay, a couple of them here have beards, but they're all dressed up, right? These are what we call crisis actors. These are people who get hired to come into a situation, and they now I can't say that this was the Washington situation. I don't know if this was in Washington or where this was, but wherever this picture was taken, we can see we know exactly who they were trying to imitate and perpetrate. Okay, so it's no secret. And he's got notices all over it. No beard, Asians, Yemen or Ethiopian, Star David, not us, African, not Hebrews. Okay, so this is all over that, right? You can see that, right? You look him up, Minister Church, right? He's on Twitter. All right. So let me do something else, because it looks like I'm doing this in a whole different way tonight. So I'm having to learn this myself. That's Elder Gabbar. Now, then he goes off and he talks about Kamala Harris, right? And he goes off on Kamala Harris, and you can look up just above this, just scroll up and you'll see it. But the one that I'm talking about, I'm going to scroll down to it real quick. This one here. Okay, this one here. This is Kamala Harris. And in this one here, what he's saying is that she is a what is she? She's a district attorney or an attorney general here in California or something, right? And she broke the state record for incarcerating black males. Okay, now she's married to a white guy. Okay, she's a black woman married to a white guy, and she's working as a district attorney, and we're actually working for them. She's locking us up. Okay, so he says, I mean, she's married to an Edomite. So what was you thinking? Thought she was your sister girl? Negroes come to trust the political system when someone say they're a Democrat. Don't you understand that the Democratic Party is the Trojan horse in the black neighborhood? Okay. Well, and then on the top of his page, he has, if you look at the top of his page, he's got the matrix thing going on. Let me switch that up for you, because I have to, before I can change it, I have to take it all the way back. All right, and so now he's got the matrix thing going for you, and here he's got the red pill and the blue pill. Elder Gabbar from GOCC saying, if the slave master used the Bible to enslave us, somewhere in there he says you use the Bible to free yourself. But anyway, I wanted you to look at Mr. Chutch, okay, on his Twitter page. You can see, if you have a Twitter, just go look him up and get on Minister Chutch. Okay, get on Minister Chutch. Now, throughout this whole thing, folks, I'm going to tell you, regardless to whatever's happening, however this goes down, we have to make sure that we stay humble and that we keep our face toward the Most High at this point. We have to. We are in a position and we are in a place where we are coming under attack. Okay, and I don't want anyone to be afraid. I was listening to some sisters today talking about this, and the sister was her, and it was two sisters who were having a conversation. Now, see, while I'm at work, I keep teaching and word going in my ear all the time, because when I'm at work, I work in a big box retail store. Okay. And, they play all during Christmas, they play that satanic music, and all during the holidays, they play that satanic music. And, the holiday is coming up right now. What is it? Valentine's Day or whatever. They're playing that satanic music. So I used to be into that heavily. I'm not going to lie. I still listen to some of the good old school. I don't listen to any of this new stuff. But, being a musician, I play drums, I play guitar, I play piano, I sing. I still like to listen to my funky stuff, and I'll sit down and I'll play my funky stuff. I'll play Earth, Wind & Fire and the Stone. I'll play September. I'll play, I play, the good stuff. Or at least I try to, some Chaka Khan. I try to listen to when music was music and it was good. And I try to play, and when I'm writing, I try to write on that level. But then I turn around and I try to use, 12 Tribe, lyrics these days. And if I do anything, it's mostly about worship. I'm not even trying to be in the game anymore. It's just we're not even there. If it's anything, it's 12 Tribe music, and it's about worship and praise. And so, and I'll have some of that coming for you guys. And it's not even about trying to make any money. It's just trying to edify the people at this point. So, stay on your knees, stay prayerful. Men are always to pray. I pray every day, all day. Even if I'm standing there talking to someone, I got it going on in my head, trying to stay prayerful in front of the Father, because I sin daily, y'all. And I don't know about you, but I sin every day. I sin every day, all day. So I need repentance. I'm under attack like nobody's business, and I tell you, I'm working in the big box, and it doesn't matter if it's winter, spring, summer, or fall. I got honeys in front of me, and they wearing hardly nothing. And for a grown man, it take everything you have, to keep your mind out of the gutter, because not only are they bringing it to you and showing it to you, see, you eat with everything you have. You eat with your eyes, you eat with your ears, you eat with your nose, you eat with your mouth, you eat with your hands, and you are what you eat. So, what goes into you, you can't unsee what you've seen. You can't unhear what you've heard. You can't unknow what's known. So the only thing you can do is stay prayerful and have the Father stay out in front of you, so that, when they bring these things to you, you're able to sidestep the temptations and keep it pushing. I'm a single black man. Women look good to me, because that's the way the Father designed them. But I'm not a lustful man. But the thing of it is that these women bring it to you and they throw it at you. Jezebel is out there, and you got to run from Jezebel. I run from Jezebel. Let me tell you, I was on my way to work the other morning. I live 3 minutes away from where I work. It's literally like 2 blocks away from my house. I don't even drive. I'll ride my bicycle. Because it's right there. And I come home for breakfast every day. I'm at work at 4 or 5 in the morning. I come home for breakfast every day, let my dogs out, and that's how I get my exercise. I'll walk to work in the summer. If I need to go get groceries, I live right across the street from a grocery store. But if I have to go get a lot of groceries, then I'll hop in a car or whatever. But if not, I got a couple of bags, I just walk across the street. Everything, I live right near everything. So for the last couple of days on my way to work, I'm talking about being prayerful. I'm talking about staying away from Jezebel. This woman comes out of nowhere, in the dead middle of the morning, soliciting me. I have headphones in my ear listening to royalty music on my way to work. And come here, honey, let me talk to you, baby. Listen, only the freaks are out at night. Okay. Now, any other man who has nothing to do might bite on that one. But I've been living here 5 years, okay, in this place, and I've never had that. But all of a sudden, out of nowhere, here this hooker comes, okay, for the last 3 days. I'm riding, I'm to the point now where I keep my blade in my hand because I don't even know if I got to do a punch cut, jump off my wheels and do a punch cut. I might have to defend myself. I don't know. It's the dead of night. It's dark. Right, I have a light on the front of the bike, and I'm not going to drive. See, I'm not going to operate in fear. I'll get down for mine. There's a couple of guys walking around with this chick. I don't know. I spotted it. Early in the morning, I saw one of them up against the building, another one by a tree, and she comes cruising out in the light. I'm like, so you guys are out here hunting, okay? So just let me be aware. You know what I'm saying? Because the warrior come out of me, I'll cut your butt up. The police station is down the street, but early in the morning. There's just nobody out, right? I'm like I said, I'm a block and a half, 2 blocks away from my job. I'm not going to operate out here in fear, but I know what this is. This is not anybody arbitrarily. This is demonic. This is spiritual, because of who we are and what we are. Things are ramping up right now. Things are ramping up in a way that, they're trying to make it so that, we don't have to be out here, or actually, so to take away, I'll say to take away or to get us out of the mix, is what I'll say, to get us out of the mix. So anyway, I just wanted to bring that out, and we're going to talk about some other things. So we got to stay prayerful, y'all. We got to stay prayerful, and we got to stay in our scriptures. We got to keep our read on, keep your head, like Earth, Wind, and Fire say, keep your head to the sky. But not necessarily keeping your head to the sky, but keeping your face in the scriptures. And that's pretty much where we're going to go and what we're going to do. And I just want to talk about some things. So before I go there, though, let me get to this. This is a thing called Project Megiddo. And you'll see the links down in the description box. Okay, this is a thing that was done by the Alphabet Boys outlining these particular groups that they were going to be watching, and this was done in 1996. That's how all this got started. It came back to my memory today when the girls was talking about. They mentioned some things. They brought some things up, and I just had to. It came back. It just came back. I was on this in 1996, and this is something the Alphabet Boys did. And it was it was an assessment for the potential for domestic terrorism in the United States, undertaken in anticipation or in the response of the arrival of the new millennium. So they're looking at anything that might take place at the end. 2000 hadn't come yet, and they figured that between 1999 and 2000, something was going to crack off. Everybody was looking and waiting for something, right? It was going to be the end of the world. The Mayan calendar was coming to an end, and I mean, everybody was looking at, what was going to happen, So if it wasn't 2000, it was going to be 2012. Some of you guys remember this because you're old enough, and others of you who are young enough, you don't remember what happened in 2000 and 2012. But, they even made a movie about 2012, right? So if you look on here, you'll see they were looking to see what was going to happen. They're looking for the blueprint it's a blueprint for action. The Turner Diaries, interpretations of the scriptures, apocalyptic religious beliefs, the New World Order conspiracy theory, and the year 2000 computer bug. I mean, this is 1996, you guys, when this came out. They were looking forward then, right? So I'm trying to tell you, I've been on this since then, right? I wasn't in this truth then, but I was already up on this. And this is when I first heard about the Black Hebrew Israelites. I didn't even know what the heck a Black Hebrew Israelite was, right? But when you look at it, you see that they were on this Christian identity move. They were on the white supremacy move. They were on the militia groups. They were on the Black Hebrew Israelites. They were on apocalyptic cults. They were looking at the significance of Jerusalem, and then they had their conclusion. The links are right here on the page. Okay, they were looking at this in 1996, you guys. So I started paying attention to the Black Hebrew Israelites at that point. I didn't know that I was a Hebrew. Okay, but I was looking at this in 1996. Now you heard me talk about my friend Ahimsa, that we call them the Yahwehs. Okay. So I was running with Ahimsa in the 80s. Okay, so here we are in 96. See, that's how long I've been watching this, right? I haven't been a part of it that long, but that's how long I've been watching this. I didn't know what it was. You see, because see, in the New York Times, when we looked at the article yesterday, they called Hebrew Israelites a fringe group. This, when you look at this article on the Twitter site that the brother's doing over there, the article he showed, it says they were a fringe group. They've been calling Hebrews a fringe group all the way up until now, right? So now, they're saying you're a fringe group, but see, you're starting to go mainstream now. Now you're mainstream, no longer a fringe group. Now you're mainstream, right? And if you look at his article and his breakdown, he will show you over there. They like I've been looking at this since the 80s. And looking at this since like 96. This right here, Project Megiddo, I found this in 96. Okay, I've had this on my hard drive of a fashion 1 or 2 and 3 or 4 of them around here. I've had them on drives. I've got the whole document, on a few different drives and a PDF and everything else, just in case it ever got off the net and I couldn't find it. Okay. So we got downloads of it and things like that. Not only do I have it, I gave it to, a number of my different friends just in case, anything ever happened to me or I disappeared or my computer crashed or whatever, somebody would have it if they ever took it off, if they ever got it offline, right? So it's out there in a number of people's hands. Okay, so now you got it. So you see it, get it now. Get it now. The link is right there. Download it now. Put it in a PDF. Drop it on a disk drive. Drop it on a thumb drive. Pass it around. Let people see it, because this how long they've been watching. Okay, they've been paying attention even before 96. And if you listen to the brother's article, he'll show you this been well over 20 years. Well, almost 30 years. Well, actually, over 30 years. They've been watching, paying attention, because they never knew when it was going to crack off, right? So everybody has had their turn. Look, they've gone after Christian identity groups. They've gone after white supremacy groups. They've gone after militias. Is it any wonder that Black Hebrew Israelites are next? Okay. Now, see, they're looking at, now who are they looking at, though, when we talk about Black Hebrew Israelites? And this is what the brother was talking about. The brother's talking about, and like I said yesterday, right? These guys, when we're looking at the 9 things you need to know about Hebrew Israelites, it's the second time, now it's the third time that I've gone over this. 9 things you need to know, okay? I was going over this yesterday on 9 things you need to know. Now, and doing a breakdown on that, right? When I went live for 6 hours yesterday, it's in there. Go watch it. It's in there. When I was doing 6 hours yesterday, because it was our first time being live again, and we went for the marathon, and we just went for it. Just got in there and just went for it. A couple of people came in there and sat with me for a little bit, and then we just went for it, okay? But the information is there, regardless to whoever was in the room. The broadcast was recorded. It's up online. You can go back and watch it. You don't have to sit there and watch the whole thing, because most of you can't sit through 15, 20 minutes worth of teaching. You know, you have difficulty sitting through an hour in your house of worship, in your church. Okay, a lot of you, you'll sit up and watch a football game for 2 or 3 hours. You'll sit up and watch a basketball game for 2 or 3 hours. You'll sit up and watch a 2 or 3 hour movie, but you can't study that long. Okay, something's wrong with that picture, Israel. Okay, I'm not going to lie. Sometimes when I'm sitting here and the Father's trying to press me into something, the spirit of slumber hits me so hard, that thing won't let me stay awake. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. I have to get up out of my chair and stand up more, force myself to stay awake, because what the Father's trying to force me to see, that thing is trying to put me to sleep so I can't see it. That's what's crazy, that there's something trying to put me to sleep so that I cannot see it. Doesn't want me to see it. It's trying to put me to sleep. Okay, so that's the thing, Mishpachah. You know, we're fighting to stay alive here, fighting to stay alive. And so I wrote a song one time called "Running for Life," and let me tell you, we need to be running for our lives for this one. Okay, so let me do this. Let me do this. I'm gonna tell you what though. Let's see. Let me get back in here. So this is, anyway. You can click on any of those links. You can click on any of these, and you can go and you can read these for yourself. But read the one about the BHIs, the Black Hebrew Israelites. Okay, that's the one I want you to read. Read the one about the Black Hebrew Israelites. You you really need to read that one. Let me see if I can. I think I have it. Let me see if I have it. I thought that I had set it to the side as a web page. Let me see. Did I? Yeah, here it is right here. Okay. So I want you to see something real fast before I move on. I want you to see this before I move on, because you have to know how they see you. See, Yeshua was telling us about this, was talking to us about this, and this is what we want to see. Okay, so let me show you something here real fast. Okay, now this says Black Hebrew Israelites. Okay, you can click on it and see it for yourself. This says Black Hebrew Israelites. As the millennium approaches, radical fringe members of the Black Hebrew Israelite movement may pose a challenge for law enforcement. As with the adherents of most apocalyptic philosophies, certain segments of the BHI movement have a potential to engage in violence at the turn of the century. Okay, you hear that? Certain segments of the BHI movement have the potential to engage in violence at the turn of the century. This movement has been associated with extreme acts of violence in the recent past, and current intelligence from a variety of sources indicates that extreme factions of BHI groups are preparing for a race war to close the millennium. Okay? Now, that's on the page right there, right? You need to download this and read. See, because they were saying this in 1996. Okay? I want you to understand this. They were saying this in 1996. Okay? Now, that did not happen, but they were saying this in 1996. So I want you to understand this part of what I'm saying to you. Okay? Understand this. If they were waiting for that in 1996, they're still waiting. If they were waiting for that then, they're still being set up for it. Okay? And so yes. So you know what, Israeli Defense Force, I saw you over in another chat room the other day, okay, and you came in with some madness over there. But listen, I'm not talking about your people dying in gas chambers in Poland or whatever. And nobody's making fun of the name of Israel, okay? And I'm not even talking about you, okay? I'm talking about something completely different. So while you're here trying to be a troll, which is all you're doing, you know, I'm going to let you stay there because I want everybody to see how seriously idiotic you look right now. Because no one is talking about you at all. No one is mentioning anything about Israel or its defense forces. Nobody's mentioning anything about gas chambers or anything else. And since you're sitting there trying to get the message off from what we're talking about, you know, I'm just going to let you sit there so everybody else can see how idiotic you look. And so, so whoever looks at this as you're checking this out later on, just understand that the idiots are over on the right-hand side of the screen, and they're trying to mess with your thought processes. But it's all good. So anyway, listen. So if they're looking for this in 1996, okay, they'll still be looking for this now. So just know that there'll be infiltrators, people who will come in and they will try to say that, you know, this is this and this is that, and it's not. It's not. Okay. So here's the thing: the Black Hebrew Israelites have never posed a threat to anyone. Okay, you don't see the brothers walking up and down the streets like militias and armies. You know, you don't see them, you know, shooting people in the streets. Okay, now see, we get gunned down in the streets, but you don't see us gunning people down in the streets. Okay, they'll snatch us up in a heartbeat and hang people from trees, but you don't see us snatching people and hanging them up from trees. Okay, that's not what we do. That's not how we operate. Okay, we live by a code of ethics that are written in our scriptures, and that's what the Father wants us to live by, and that's how we live. Okay, and we allow people to come and sojourn with us. You know, even idiots like this person over here, okay, who says that we're stealing his identity. But let me ask you this, okay? What are you going to do when Gabbar Nassar, the king of Egypt, says that you'll never live in the land, there'll never be peace? But how is it that you left black and came back white? I want you to answer that one, Israeli Defense Force. How is it that the cancer rate is so high in Israel right now? You're not even people from the land. You can't even live in the sun. You know, you can't live in the sun, because if you live in the sun, you get cancer, right? That's not your land, right? That's not your land. You're converts. You're Khazars, right? You converted, your whole kingdom converted and came over to a faith that was not even yours. Okay, but it's okay. It's all right. We don't mind, because see, in the end, you know who you're going to be serving. You're going to be serving the house of Judah. And Judah, the Yahudim, are people of color. They are melanated people. And I know that you hate to hear that, but it's okay. It's in your ears. The Yahudim are melanated people. Okay, so understand this, and that's how it is. That this is what they're looking for, and that is how it's going to be. There's never been a fringe group that has been violent that have been of people of color. We've never done that. Not even when they called us Black Panthers and we were out there that way. All we were doing was policing our neighborhoods and making sure that we policed our own, and that people came, and those people who came were the ones who took care of us, and they made sure that we did not get ran on by people. They made sure that we didn't that people didn't come and ransack our neighborhoods, is what it was. Okay, so we policed ourselves, and we made sure that our children ate, our children were fed. Okay, so we didn't need anybody to come out of our neighborhood into our neighborhood and then police us. Okay, so we kept our crime down, right? We had our own schools, we had our own businesses, and every time that we operate like that, then it's other people who come and they tear our neighborhoods apart. Okay, the Tulsa, Oklahoma Black Wall Street situation, they came and they burned the whole place out. Just like in Rosewood, they came and they burned the whole place out to stop us from being who we were. And what they do is that they put other things in place to cause you to be who they want you to be. It's called manifest destiny. The white man wants you to be what he wants you to be. You can't be your own person. And when we live among ourselves, we do just fine. Okay. So I wanted to show you that, and so we can move forward. All right. So again, just stay prayerful. Keep your head in your scriptures, and keep the Most High God out in front of you, and everything will be all right. And that's what we'll do. We'll just keep the Most High God out in front of us, and everything will be all right. But I want to show you something, right? So let's get over here, and let's get into eSword, and let's just talk about this real fast, okay? Let's talk about this real fast because we need to. We need to. Now, as you'll see over here, we're looking at what we're going to be looking at is Matthew 24, Mark 13, and Luke 21. How Yehoshua talks about the destruction of the temple, okay, and what'll be going on during the destruction as the temple starts to go, okay. And hey, Sister Z, how are you? Good to see you. I'm over here, fighting with the Israeli Defense Forces, and actually, I have no defense against his forces. He's too strong for me. I can't handle him. Oh my God, he's just out of control. But of course, I'm being facetious. I have no problem with this idiot. So anyway, as I was saying, is that the disciples wanted to know what was going to be happening in the end time. So as I was talking about, we have these individuals who are infiltrating, and a lot of different people who are showing up, and they're wearing the garb, and they're talking the talk, and they're walking the walk, but they don't have the look, and they're just kind of hanging out. Oh, I know he's a troll. He knows he's a troll. I saw him. He was, he was over in I was at Kai Yeshua yesterday. Right, and he was over in Kai Yeshua, and Sister Casita kicked him out. I'm not gonna kick him out. I'm not even gonna play with him like that. I'm not gonna kick him. I'm not gonna give him the boot. I want him to sit here, and I want him to get this word. It might change his heart, and it might change it. Change the man himself. And anyway, the Messiah was talking to the disciples about what was going to happen in the temple. Now they came out and they were, showing him, how beautiful the temple was and all the buildings, and he was telling them that this thing was not going to stand, right? And again, Sister Z, I was, in the other study, we went over this the other night, and we were talking about nation against nation and kingdom against kingdom. This is Matthew 24, Mark 13, and Luke 21. Yeah, I know he's in everybody's chat. I don't really care. He has nothing better to do. See, that's what happens when a person doesn't have a life. When you don't have a life, then you go around trying to mess with everybody else because you don't have a life, right? So what I'm doing is I'm out here talking to my people and leaving messages for my people, and here this idiot comes because he doesn't have a life, right? Actually, he's probably paid. He's probably a paid troll, like those crisis actors. They pay them to go around and mess with people. He's probably paid, but I'm not worried about him. Because first of all, he's not a true Israeli. He's not on anybody's defense force. He's some little weak-ass white boy sitting in the background and probably can't even fight. So it's no problem. So anyway, he's sitting here and he's saying, first thing off, take heed, no man can deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying that I am the Messiah, but they shall deceive many. And the main thing of it is what I'm saying here is that there's going to come a falling away. That as this thing starts to increase and as it starts to ramp up and speed up, that there's going to be a lot of people who are going to fall off. I heard a sister say that she no longer identifies. Watchman Deborah Yah says she doesn't know. She no longer identifies as Hebrew Israelite. Now, see, she's not saying that she's given up on her faith. She's not saying that she's walking away from Yeshua. What she's saying is that there's so many people out there that are dressing up in these costumes, that are screaming and yelling at people, out here on the streets, that she doesn't want to identify with that. And I say, of course, I say the same thing. You see, because Messiah, as he was teaching, he wasn't screaming at people on the streets. He wasn't telling people they were going to burn in hell. He wasn't calling them dogs. He didn't do any of those things. Well, except for the Samaritan woman at the well, when he was teaching her. But he didn't necessarily call her a dog. He just used verbiage that meant that. And she, had to identify and say, yes, I understand that this is the children's bread, master, but even the dogs eat the bread that falls from eats the crumbs that falls from the master's table. So, in their back and forth conversation, she wasn't there for herself. Her daughter, she was there for her daughter. Her daughter got healed, and she went home. He said, I haven't found this much faith in all of Israel. So go ahead, go home. What you asked for is already done. So it's good. So it's a good thing. So, as I know that, we're going to see various different things, taking place around us, because we still have to be as wise as a serpent. We still have to be as gentle as doves, even with people like this guy right here. Okay. Now for anybody else, they might take him for, whatever he is, but even he has a place in the Father's kingdom. Even he has a place. He might be cleaning floors of toilets, but he still got a place, in the Father's kingdom. So, and we all, are going to have a place in the Father's kingdom, and none of us have a guaranteed seat. So the bottom line is that the scripture says that the righteous are going to scarcely make it in. The righteous are going to scarcely make it in. So where does that leave the sinner? Right? So if one of these Hebrew brothers misses it, that makes room for this guy right here. And if he decides that he wants to follow the Most High God of Israel, then he's got a seat as well. He's going to have to leave his pork sandwiches behind. He won't be able to bring his shrimp and lobsters, or any of that madness. He's going to have to admit, and submit to the Most High God of Israel. He's going to have to, But at the same time, if he doesn't bow, then he'll get smoked and burnt up in the lake of fire also. So that's what it is, and that's the way it goes. But see, here's the thing. And this is how it's ramping up. This is how it's ramping up. Because I can tell you 4 or 5 months ago, you didn't see people like this jumping on everybody's websites, right? This is how it's ramping up, okay? Because anytime that a page opens up and someone comes out here and starts talking about the Most High God of Israel and the Mashiach scriptures, and if you have an issue with that, then you have an issue with that. You're the one that's got to dance with the devil by the pale moonlight, not me. So, we're going to hear of these, okay? We went to that nation against nation thing, okay? And when we get to the nation against nation thing, here, let me go back to Matthew, because I was somewhere else. Let me get back into Matthew 24 real fast, okay? So, as many shall come, you shall hear wars, be not troubled. All right, so here's a nation, 24/7. So nation is Greek word 1484. Ethnos is where we get our word ethnics from, ethnicity. It's a race, a tribe, specifically non-Jewish, okay? It's a foreigner. By implication, a pagan, a Gentile, a heathen. It's a nation. It's people, right? So this is people against people, not a king's realm. It's not a kingdom. It's not a country. It's not a realm. It's a nation of people versus a nation of people. See, so that's what's going on right now. We can look around, right? So just look at what was happening at the Washington Monument, or the Lincoln Memorial, right? So see what was happening there, okay? You had a supposed American Indian who also, their brother over there, identifies him as a crisis actor because he was in a Skrillex video and he's been around on a few different other videos. So he wasn't even, like a real situation going on there. Then you had the other brothers who were out there. Now, some of those Israelites were probably real brothers, right? But just like the other picture that I showed you, there's some infiltrators out there. They don't even have beards. They're wearing Star Davids. They're not even the real deal. They're just some actors out there, posing so that they can, stir up some madness. Okay, and that's the thing we have to be aware of, is that just even in Ferguson, I knew a brother from Ferguson, and he was doing his live, and when he did his live, he came on. He says, "Look, these guys aren't even from here. They got off a bus like 4 blocks away, and they came over here, and they're all coming in here starting stuff. They're not even. They don't dress like us. They don't talk like us. They don't even live in this neighborhood. They bust them in, so that the news media would be here and they would see all of these people. These people aren't even from here. So it's the same thing that they're doing out there. They're doing the same thing in Washington. When they stirring up some madness for the news media, so they can do this fear mongering type thing up to them." And then they'll run them out of there. Off your word. This is people falling away. They're going to see that this stuff is going on, and they're not even going to want to be a part of it. right? It's not going to be, I heard another brother say 1.4 and 9. Listen, this is how they start falling away. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted and shall kill you. And you shall be hated of all nations. Who did we just say the nations were? The people. For my name's sake, right? Because you're claiming to be the nation of the Yahudim. Well, it says so right there. So what's the problem? You can't take the heat. Get out the kitchen. You know, there's always going to at one point, if you remember, you guys don't know anything about this because you never woke up, a chocolate a day in your life. So insist that you would be the N-word, right? And then you say, well, I'm a soul brother. No, how can I be America and Africa at the same time? I'm not that. I'm not that. I'm not any of that. Right. So that's that's the hard part that people have, difficulty dealing with, is that you can't be anything you want to be. You have to be what they want you to be. OK. So, as you look around and you see that these people are trying to say that you have to be what they want you to be. You can't wake up to be what you want to be yourself. OK. And why is that? Why can't you do that? Right? What's so hard about you being who you want to be? Okay. So I'm going to look at something here real quick because we have some visitors and I like to show our visitors something very, very nice. I think that our visitors will probably want to know this because you see, in order for someone to say that you are something that you're not, they have to first prove that you're not that. So my challenge to the visitors, because you are visitors, you're over here, in my house, and since you're my guests today, I'm gonna be nice to you. I'm not gonna treat you like everybody else treats you by kicking you out so that you don't learn anything. So, but I'm gonna ask you this, can you prove that the melanated people who say that they are Israel today are not Israel? I mean, do you have any proof that would substantiate that claim? You say that people are stealing your heritage or stealing your culture or claiming to be something that they're not. So my question would be, what proof do you have that these individuals who say that they are Hebrews are not Hebrews? I mean, is there something that you have somewhere along the line that you'd be able to say that this is untrue, that you are not this of this lineage, that you are not of this heritage? Do you have anything that would prove or substantiate to us that the melanated people who are here in the Americas from the transatlantic slave trade taken off the coast of Africa are not the house of Judah? Do you have anything? I will wait. No, Sister Z, I'm not going to do that to either one of them. You see, because I have something for them. I want to know if either one of them. I'm not talking about Muhammad. See, you don't know anything, about where I'm going with this. And as a matter of fact, I am of the Muslim faith. You don't know anything about Bani Israel. What do you know about Bani Israel? Yeah, you don't know. You just run your mouth. Okay, so here's the thing. Since you have no proof, I can prove to you that we are the house of Judah. Are you ready? Because I'm waiting. Are you ready? Are you ready for this proof to hit you? You ready? All right. Bam. Now you tell me. Not only did the Portuguese and the Pope know who they were coming to get, they knew where to go get them. Why? Because King John sat us there as part of the slave trade. He knew who he put there. That's why it says what it says. Okay? So now you prove to me that that's not who we are. Okay, you prove it. You know, you sitting over there running your mouth like you know so doggone much. You prove to me that that's untrue. Prove it. I double dog dare you. Okay, that's a 1747 map. Okay, that's a 1747 map. You guys did that. You wrote. We didn't. We had no cartographers who were drawing maps in 1747. You idiots drew that map. Okay? And you told the world who we were. Did you think we would never find out? Are you that damn stupid? You think we would never find out? You think we would never bother to read the scriptures and discover who we were? Are you idiots? Yeah, you're idiots. That's why you're over here. I hear crickets in the room. Prove that that's wrong. Prove it. Go get your documentation, because the more documentation you bring to refute this, I'll put more documentation up there to prove it. Okay? I'm waiting. I see nothing. I hear nothing. Crickets in the room. Uh-huh. See what that says? It says Kingdom of Judah. Waida. Okay? You can go on Google and type in WHIDHDAH, and what will you see? You know, let me tell you something. Y'all came into the wrong room. Okay? You came and messed with the wrong person. You came and messed with the wrong brother. I'm not that guy. Okay? I'm not the one. I'm not the one. Because you don't know where you've landed. Let me show you something else. Okay? See, you probably don't know anything about this either. Okay? So you probably think that we would never find out who we were. All through slavery, someone knew who we were. Okay? All during slavery. Okay? So we never really lost all of our heritage, right? We just were kind of slow in picking it up because we weren't allowed to read. So it took a while for us to get back on deck. It took a while for us to get back on point. But you see, right here after slavery, we had some people who figured out who we were and what we were doing. Okay? And not only did we do this, but we had some of y'all white folks helping us. Okay? Because in the real way, in the real sense of it, you know, it was the Jews who were the so-called Jews, you know, you white Ashkenazi ones, was behind the slave trade in the first place. You see, now see, there's always been white Jews, you know, converts from Khazaria. You know, there's always been you guys, right? And you know, you're written of in plenty of books, and I have some of those books, where a sultan was being asked, "Oh, you mean they're white Jews like you?" And the sultan said, "No, they're black, like you." And that's a book from the 14th century. I've got that one. Okay, I'm still seeing crickets. The free blacks of Israel Hill, just to the west lies Israel Hill, settled in 1810 and 1811 by approximately 90 formerly enslaved persons who received freedom and 350 acres from Judith Randolph under the will of her husband, right? Richard Randolph, cousin of Thomas Jefferson. These Israelites and other free African Americans, these Israelites, it says these Israelites. Okay? That's what it says. These Israelites. Why is there still crickets in the room? Wait a minute. I'm waiting to hear somebody refute this. Okay? You up in here running your mouth. I'm waiting to hear you refute this. You don't have anything to say about this, though, do you? You didn't think that I had something for you, did you? Yeah, see, next time you come up in here, remember who you're messing with. You can go to those other rooms and you can pick on them, right? But I got something for you, little stupid butt. Okay? Now, as I was saying, let me get back to what I was doing. I had to put these idiots in their places. So go find somebody else to mess with. These, Matthew 24:9, they shall deliver you up to be afflicted and shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. It'll probably be the Israeli Defense Forces that'll be grabbing you and delivering you up, because they'll be mad at the fact that we just proved to them that we know who we are And we weren't supposed to know this. They'll be mad at you because you know where you came from. They'll be mad at you because you're starting to call out on your Elohim now. And they know that when we all get together and we start calling on our Elohim, their days are numbered. Their days are so numbered that it's going to be over for them in a heartbeat. They know that once he gathers us up and takes us off to where he's going to fight for us, that it'll be nothing but fire and ashes for them. They know this. They read the book. They read the book also, right? But you see, they are operatives of Satan himself, right? They're operatives, right? What does Revelation say, Sister Z? I know those who say that they are Jews and are not. He got something for you. He knows who you are. You think the Father doesn't know his people? See, this is about a bloodline. There's a bloodline that happened in the womb between Esau and Jacob. 2 different DNA strands came out of that woman. And the Father knows whose DNA he's looking for. So it doesn't matter how you curl your hair in the salon. It doesn't matter how you darken your skin with melanin shots and how you lay out in the sun. That it's not about that. It's about a bloodline. It's not about what you look like. It's about a bloodline. You see, because all people of color are not Hebrews. Just because you have dark skin doesn't make you a Hebrew. Okay? And we have people, trust me, Israeli Defense Force, we got people with straighter hair than yours, blonder hair than yours, and bluer eyes than yours that are Hebrews. Okay? So you stepped up into the wrong joint tonight. That's why I didn't kick you out. That's why I'm never going to kick you idiots out. I would rather just give you the truth and just let you wallow in your mire. Okay? Now listen, in 24:10, and then many shall be offended. Why would many be offended? Because these are the ones who fell away. These are the ones who are going to be offended because they're the ones who are going to end up taking the mark. They're going to end up telling on the real ones who are willing to stand. Okay? The disciples were glad to suffer the same affliction as Messiah. They came back to each other talking about, oh, I got beat today, man. I took 40 lashes today. Do you know? They were excited to take these lashes. There's some of us out here that, we don't want to have to go through it. But if we have to go through it for the Messiah, we'll do it. We'll do it. Some people are gonna die right in front of us, and we're gonna stand there and take it, just like if we're next. Because we know what we have on the other side. The scriptures say whoever will save his life to defend this world will lose it. I was just talking to a sister the other day. I don't want my grandchildren to have to go through this. I'm like, baby, you can't stop this. And if you're trying to stop this, then you're going to lose your life on the other side. For your grandkids, this has to happen. It says so right here. This is what Matthew 24, Mark 13, and Luke 21 is all about, right? So, this was what the Messiah was talking to the brothers about. And, they were over here. Look, Matthew 24, Mark 13, Luke 21 is all right here. It's all right here. These are all the scriptures. They're all the scriptures right here, right? So look. Let's look, right? So in Mark 13, he goes out of the temple. What happens? They come in and say, see these great buildings? There's not one to be left upon another, right? He was telling them the same thing. He said, take heed lest no man deceive you. The Israeli Defense Force would want to have you deceived. They would rather that you sit back and argue with them about who you are as opposed to discuss these scriptures. He don't want to talk about these scriptures. He don't want to talk about King John. He does not want to talk about the papal bull where the Pope said that only the Hebrews could be the ones to be slaves. Why did the Pope issue a papal bull? Because the Pope wanted the Hebrews to stop practicing their Sabbath rest, and he wanted them to get baptized into Christianity and go to church on Sundays. This was the beginning of the Spanish Inquisition, you idiot. This is how it all got started. Dummy, we know who we are. And I'll break the book out on that one for you. That during the Spanish Inquisition, it was the Spanish who was rounding up the black Hebrews and shipping them off to the islands. King John sat us on the west coast of Africa. So many of them that he had to put a tag on it that this is the kingdom of Judah. The map I just showed you, he called it the Slave Coast so the Portuguese would know where they were going to pick us up at. They knew who we were. That's why they parked us there, you idiot. And now we know who we are. And I've done my DNA. And I know who I am. Now, can you prove that I'm not? Because I can prove that I am. Right? For many shall come in my name, 13:6, saying that I am the Messiah, and shall deceive many. And when you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, be not troubled, for such things must needs be. But the end shall not be yet. For nation shall rise against nation. See, that's me against you, Israeli Defense Force. That's my brothers coming down on y'all, Israeli Defense Force. See, and here's the other thing. You claim to be Jewish. I know you do, because you keep hollering about you Israel. Well, let me ask you this. If Israel has arrived in the land, like in 1948, like you guys say you did, okay, how is it that the whole country is Yehudi? Where's the other 11 tribes? When Israel comes home, all 12 tribes will come home. Where are the other 11, you idiot? Where are they? The whole country can't just be Yehudi. Where's Gad? Where's Naphtali? Where's Simeon? Where's Asher? Where are they? There's 11 other tribes. The whole country cannot be Yehudi. And the scriptures also say that when Israel comes home, there'll be peace in the land. Why have you guys been fighting since 1948 against the people who don't want you there? Why are you fighting with people who don't want you there? Because Gabbar Nassar said there'll never be peace in the land because you left here black and you came back white. That's what he said. So 13:9, take heed to yourselves, for they shall deliver you up to councils. Why? Because they claim to be the Jews. They're going to do the same thing that they did to the Messiah. They claim to be the Jews and they're stealing my heritage. No, we're just taking back what's ours. And those idiots will believe you. And in the synagogues you shall be beaten, and you'll be brought before rulers and kings for my name's sake, for a testimony against them. That's a testimony against you, Israeli Defense Force. You see, because even if you wanted to, I'm going to tell you something like, right now, I'm going to explain this to you. You can't stop even if you wanted to. Because the Father right now is doing exactly to you and your crew is what he did to Pharaoh. Pharaoh couldn't stop if he wanted to. He had to continue so that the Father could put a whooping on him to prove who he said he was. Pharaoh couldn't stop if he wanted to. Same thing with Nebuchadnezzar, when he puffed his chest up with pride and he said, you know what, now it's time for you to bend over and eat grass for about 7 years. You ready to eat some grass, Israeli Defense Force? These crickets in the room. Anyway, so when they lead you, 13:11, and deliver you up, take no thought beforehand what you shall speak, neither do ye premeditate. But whatsoever shall be given to you in that hour, whatever you get in that time, that is what you speak. For it's not you that speak, but the Ruach HaKodesh. Okay? Now, brother shall betray brother to the death. Father, the son, to the death. Children shall rise up against their parents and shall cause them to be put to death. Why? I'm not no Hebrew Israelite. Not me, but my mama is. You see Nim and them down the street there? They are. See, and that's what's going to happen. There's going to be folks snatching Demetrius off their heads, coming up out of their garb, taking those costume leather bands off their arms, saying, no, not me, man, not me, them, get them. That's the falling away that's going to occur, sister. That's the falling away. I see it now so clear. It's been on my mind all day long. I've been wrestling with this all day long. And you should be hated of all men for my name's sake. But he that shall endure until the end, the same shall be saved. See, in order to receive salvation, IDF, you got to go through something. You haven't gone through anything. You haven't gone through a thing. Right? That's the reason why you do what you do, because you haven't gone through a thing. And you'll continue to do what you do. And you couldn't stop yourself if you wanted to. Because the whipping that's going to take place for you and those like you is going to be so great for the rest of us to watch. Now, see, there's a lot of keyboard warriors out here. See, no one has probably ever seen your face. But there's plenty of people that know what I look like, because I don't hide behind, my keyboard. Okay? But you got a 6-pointed star up there, and just like you were shown yesterday, that 6 points is 6. 6 pyramids inside your star is 6, and then on the inner circle of it, you've got a pentagram, which has 6 sides. And what did he spell for you then? He spelled 666. Yeah, House of Satan. That's what it was. You remember that, don't you? Yeah. See, you forget. How quickly you forget. I was in the room. I saw him break you down. Okay, so you want to come over here and try to mess with me, but you can't. You can't prove that we are not who we say we are. You can spew your drag, but you can't prove that we are not who we say we are. See, we have swordsmanship over here. We're not afraid to swing it. Okay, and then in Luke, same thing in Luke. What does he say? Luke 21:10. Nation shall rise against nation. He said that the Father said, my word is established in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses. Okay, well, I just gave you 3 right here. Okay? That you and your crew are going to come against us. And yes, you might take some of us down. But you know what? It's okay. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. I was sitting in the room watching him do it. Laughing the whole time. I just never thought this idiot would come over here and try to mess with me, but okay, all right. But I have no answer from him. You see, he's been awfully quiet back there, especially when he got hit in the face with the map. He hasn't said a word. But anyway, you see, the reason why we're not afraid, I'll tell you why. Because in Luke, let's start at Luke 21:16. Ye shall be betrayed both by parents, brethren, kinsfolk, and friends, and some of you shall they cause to be put to death. What does it say next? You shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but there shall not a hair on your head perish. In your patience possess ye your souls. See, I'm not afraid of what a man can do to this body. I fear him who can destroy both soul and body. So it doesn't matter if the flesh perishes. You know why? Because the flesh was designed to perish. I was born into a sinful world and a sinful body. It wasn't created that way initially, but that's what it became. And since from dust I was created, dust I'll go back to, this flesh is going to perish. But that which waits on me, it will not perish. It's not liable to die. It's an immortal soul. I just have to get there. You, my friend, probably won't make it. You can, though. You certainly can. All you have to do is just realize that when you come over here, you will have to serve the Most High and his people. You will serve. And we will not do to you what you did to us, because we don't believe in chattel slavery. We have rules and regulations. We have laws. And our servants, will be like family, but they'll still be servants over here. We don't rape. We don't rob. We don't pillage. We don't do that. That's not who we are. And I can tell you that I know plenty of Caucasian people who don't rape, rob, and pillage. I know plenty of Caucasian people who would rather serve in the Father's kingdom than to not be there at all. I know plenty of Caucasian people who will fight and defend me right here, right now. So not everyone is out to get us. the same way, just like not all of us are. See, I have people who laugh at me because I can't play basketball. They laugh at me because I don't play football. I had a lady who said to me, "How is it that you don't know how to break into a car?" Caucasian lady asked me that. I said, "I don't know how to break into a car because I have the keys to it." She just looked at me kind of stupid. But the whole thing is that I don't need to break into a car when I have the keys to it. It's my car. What I need to break into it for? And it just shows how idiotic a person can be when they make a statement like that. Okay? There's plenty of people who are good, God-fearing people who don't dwell on race, because see, race is a construct that's done here in America. Black and white, that's a construct. The Father deals with nations. Nations, it says right here in Scripture, Matthew, Mark, Luke. He deals with nations. Nation against nations, kingdom against kingdom. He doesn't deal with white and black. He doesn't have, there's no such thing as color with his, what he does. There was never color. So people who live inside of that construct right there, they're already lost, because you'll never be able to reach them. They live inside that construct. It's nations, tribes of families is what it is. So that's what that is, Mishpachah. There's going to come a time when people are going to have to they're going to have to see for themselves, and every knee will bow and every tongue will confess, and it won't matter whether you're white or you're black. When you stand and you face the Most High God of Israel, all of that madness that's been spewing from your lips and all that hatred, it's going to cease. It's going to cease. Because you see, he came in love the first time. The next time he's coming for war. And all that madness that you're spewing and all that craziness that you're spewing, it's going to cease. Doesn't matter what you say right now. Doesn't matter what you do right now. Because there's some of us, we don't care. We don't care. There's some people out there that do care. And they'll run from you and they're afraid of you. But there's plenty of us out here who are not afraid of you. We got good swordsmanship. We're not afraid of you. Right? And we'll tell you about yourself quite easily. But I say to any of them, for anyone who challenges me on that, prove that what I say, prove it wrong. Simple. See, because here's the thing. Your English professors, your Harvard professors, your Yale professors, your Ivy League professors wrote a lot of these books. And in these books, they tell us, because the books were never meant for us, they were meant for you. But now that we have our hands on them, we can share these books. And these books, your people wrote, and they tell us who we are, because they were telling it among themselves. Look, if you go over here, you'll find a Yehudi, and they're black Yehudi. You see, and I can tell you this now, and you might want to go and look this up, because like most of you don't believe what you hear, so go look it up. The queen sits on the throne, but her family crest has all chocolate faces on it. The Pope goes into the basement of the Vatican, and he prays to a chocolate Madonna and her son. I've got the pictures straight out of their books. So, you can say what you want to say, but your professors wrote these books. We didn't write them. We didn't draw the maps. But we do have the articles. We do have the books. We do have the pictures. And that's where it is. So I tell you, that's just who it is. And that's just how it goes. And it's not so much that anybody is afraid of you guys, because you're no threat to us. You're no threat. All that any of you ever do is run your mouth and try to make people afraid, but nobody's afraid of you. You see, we were reading the Gospel of Bartholomew yesterday, and Bartholomew had the opportunity to tread on serpents and scorpions, and Yahuwah let him do that, okay, by giving him the power of his son And he told little Bartholomew to walk up there and stand on his neck. And little bitty Bartholomew walked across the body of your daddy, Satan. And his little bitty feet pushed his head down into the dirt. So we're talking about an entity who stood about a mile and a half high and was about a quarter of a mile wide. And this little bitty guy, probably about 6 feet tall, stepped on his neck and drove his head into the ground by the power of the Son of the Most High God of Israel. So if a little bitty guy like that had the power of Yeshua Messiah in him, just imagine what we're going to do to you when we put our hands on you. I'm not worried about you. You're no threat. And the only reason that you're running your mouth right now is because you don't want to give up your power in this world. But in this world, this is where you'll have your power. But not in the one to come. And none of us who deal with any of you, we don't care about this world. Because we know what's happening in the one to come. And we know who rules in that one. And we also know that when this all turns over at the end of this age, when this age is just about to turn over, because that's all this stuff is getting started right now. Nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom, wars and rumors of wars, earthquakes, famines and pestilences, and all these fearful sights and great signs and all these things. This is just the beginning, but the end is not yet. See? And the reason why you guys are running your mouths is because you're getting nervous. You're getting nervous. The more you get nervous, the happier we get, because we know it's coming close. Yeah, some of us might fall off, but you won't get us all. Not before he gets here. And if we do have to give it up before he gets here, we'll be coming back there soon after. So it's no biggie. Because the scripture says that we lay our lives down in this one, we pick it up in the next. So it's you that's afraid. You're afraid because you have to give up your power. And when you do, you have nothing to pick up in the next. And you'll be there with your father, Satan, who was a liar, and the devil from the beginning. Okay, family, that's what I got for you. That's what's been on my mind all day. And I'm going to leave it right there. And I hope you guys got something to think about out of this. Feel free to go back and watch it and try to figure out, where you can come up and refute what I just said to you. Okay? And you won't be able to refute it, because whenever you bring something to refute it, I got some more books for you. I got some more books for you that your folks wrote that'll break it down to you, because obviously you're the stupid when you haven't even read your own books, right? We've read your books. We read what your professors wrote to you that you didn't bother to read, okay? And it's all good. So I want to say good night to your family. Mishpachah, I tell you what, stay on deck, stay on point. It's all good. We're going to stay in love, and I'm not going to let, and you don't let any of these people push you around and keep you down. What you do is you keep your head up, you keep your scriptures up, you keep your fist in the air, and if they swing at you, swing back. And that's all we can do, right? Defend myself in the name of the Most High Yah, and the Ruach HaKodesh goes before me everywhere I go. Because the Most High God of Israel is the lamp on my path and the director of my path and the director of my feet. Okay? And that's just how we keep it pushing. Nobody over here is afraid. Nobody. I know you might think so, but nobody is afraid. It's you who are afraid because you're losing your power. And your power is broken. And you know it. So anyway, I wanted to bring that out and drop that out there. And we're going to leave it like that until we meet again, until we do it again. I want to thank you so much for hanging out with me, Sister Z. And we'll see you over on the other side.